Okay, we have been talking so much lately about insulin resistance that I wanted to do a really brief recording on insulin resistance and fat. So, this is going to be a game changer for you, and you can probably hear the excitement in my voice. The latest introduction, the latest member of the family to the Fixxr line is Metabolism Fixxr. And this, oh my God, I formulated this just for all my people out there that need to lose weight, that need help in the weight loss department, that can't lose weight no matter what they do, that feel like they have a slow metabolism, and that might be thinking of trying all those peptides out there, the Beverly Hills soccer mom drug of choice for weight loss peptides. Or even if you're on them already and you're like, man, these are really expensive and I'm still not losing weight, add in Metabolism Fixxr. Here's what I did. I took the power of T2, which increases your basal metabolic rate while you are sitting there watching Netflix. You're burning fat while you're watching Netflix. I combined it with a very unique patented ingredient called Suppressa. Suppressa has multiple clinical trials backing its efficacy in reducing your appetite, decreasing snacking, and providing way more control over your food intake. It is amazing. We also see improved emotional well-being, just decreased food cravings all around, reduced hunger, and weight management. Add on top of that, we have green tea extract, we have purple forest purple tea extract, both of which affect the metabolism in a very positive way without the jitters of normal fat burning supplements out there from the 1980s and 90s, right? The ones that made you feel like you're having a heart attack. You will not have that in any of my supplements, Thyroid Fixxr or Metabolism Fixxr. But Metabolism Fixxr, ooh, yeah, we kicked it up a notch. It is in powder form, so you can drink it through your day. It's going to flavor your water. We got orange crush and refreshing citrus. I love them both. It is going to keep you under control all day long. So you throw a couple scoops in your water bottle in the morning, throw a scoop or two in your water bottle throughout the day. You will have fat burning and appetite control the entire day for what? An eighth of a price of the peptides? Oh my God, you can't go wrong. So grab some Metabolism Fixxr today. Please let me know how you do on it. I am super excited for you. Super excited. So when we're talking about the fat cell, you have to think about the fat cell as its own endocrine system. We are learning so much more about fat. It's not just a blob that causes you anxiety and distress when you put on a pair of jeans. It is so much more than that. It has its own endocrine system. It releases hormones like leptin and ghrelin, and it is dependent on insulin. So you cannot make a fat cell grow without insulin, even in the presence of high caloric intake. So I want you to think about that. You could take in massive, massive amounts of calories. And let's say you are doing a low carb or a ketogenic diet, you know this. You can take in more calories in fats and a little bit of protein, moderate protein, than you can in carbohydrates and remain the same weight. A fat cell cannot grow without insulin. What spikes insulin? Carbohydrates and sugar. Fat does not spike insulin whatsoever. So when we have a large amount of fat intake and a high caloric intake, because it's mainly fat and protein, you actually don't gain weight. You can lose weight because a fat cell cannot shrink. You cannot make a fat cell shrink in the presence of high insulin. So the only way a fat cell will shrink is in the presence of low insulin. The reversal of insulin resistance is imperative to lose weight. It's not about calories in, calories out. You can count calories all day long. And as you're counting them, make sure that you look at, is your diet mostly carbohydrates or is it mostly fat and protein? If it's mostly fat and protein, watch those calories increase. If you have the guts to do so, try increasing your calories to 2, 3, 5,000 calories per day. You will actually lose weight if you bring down your insulin. If you lower or reverse your insulin resistance, if you remove that insulin that the fat cell needs to grow, then you can't grow. The fat cell has no other choice but to shrink up. Now, if you keep your calories low, let's say you do 900, 1,000, 1,200 calories, and the majority of your diet is carbohydrates, you are pumping up your insulin. You are increasing your insulin. With or without insulin resistance, you are increasing your insulin. Plain and simple. We know this. We know this from a scientific fact. Fat does not increase insulin. Carbohydrates increase insulin. Sugars increase insulin. That includes fruit, increases insulin. Even some vegetables like carrots and I love me some peppers, believe me, but carrots and peppers and the squashes will still increase insulin. I'm not saying to avoid them. I'm saying to take them into consideration when you're looking at your overall food intake. If you want a fat cell to shrink, you have to pull its insulin. Now, you type 1 diabetics, that does not mean not taking your insulin. That is not what I'm saying. But if you look at a type 1 diabetic, oh, how about that, right? So type 1 diabetics need insulin to survive. We need insulin. I say this all the time in every insulin resistant recording, video, audio podcast that I have done. I say that we need insulin to survive. We need it. Type 1 diabetics, you have to take it. If you withhold your insulin, you are actually in a kind of anorexic state because you're trying to get skinny by not giving your body insulin, but you could end up, that could be a fatal decision on your part. Don't do that. But that's the perfect example. If we look at type 1 diabetics that don't get their insulin, they will shrivel away to nothing. They will be skin and bones because they have no fat on their body. Fat needs insulin to survive and to grow. So if we keep our bodies in a low insulin state, our fat cells can shrink. In the presence of insulin, fat cells will grow. Remember that. You cannot make a fat cell grow without insulin, even in a high caloric intake. Calories in, calories out do not matter. I want to give you one quick study that was done that I refer to quite often. It was done by a man, I believe this was back, this might have been 40s and 50s. And he wanted to use college students, but then he figured out that he can't get the college students to eat the amount of calories that he wanted them to eat for his study. So he went to a prison. He takes prison inmates and works them up to 10,000 calories per day. 10,000. All y'all are at like 1,000, 1,500, maybe 2,000, 10,000 calories per day. And only one man, they initially gained like a little bit of weight and then it stabilized. And then some of them actually lost weight. One man kept gaining, but that's because he had metabolic dysfunction that needed treated, like a thyroid condition, something like that. So when you optimize the thyroid and when you actually reduce insulin, calories don't matter. Calories in, calories out don't matter. And even if that diet actually contained carbohydrates, but we were supporting thyroid function, we balanced hormones, and we were treating insulin resistance, let's say with berberine that I always talk about, then what we would see is that even the carbohydrates in that high caloric diet, if they're not spiking insulin, and you're not battling insulin resistance, those carbohydrates could actually be tolerated and a person would not gain weight. They could actually, your body will adjust to a new caloric set point and start burning. I'm not suggesting 10,000 calories a day, but start burning 10,000 calories a day despite the composition of the diet. But of course, high fat, moderate protein, low carb is the better and best way to go when we're talking about lowering insulin so that your fat cells can shrink, because that's what most of you want. Some of you out there want to grow. Some of you need to gain weight. I would say it's a very small population because most of us are battling the standard American diet. Most of us are battling a lot of misinformation that we've been hearing about, reading about, searching for information. Maybe you tried vegan, maybe you tried vegetarian, you did high carb, low fat, you're staying away from oils, you're whatever, doing the fast metabolism diet, your carbs are all over the place, you're eating oats, you're eating apples, you don't even know what's going on. There's a lot of information out there. Just remember this simple thing. If you have insulin resistance and you're trying to lose weight, if you continue to pump up your insulin, then your fat cells will grow. If you lower your insulin through whatever means, whether it's changing your diet, using berberine, I mean, you should change your diet anyways. Berberine is not going to override McDonald's and fast food. But if you change your diet, maybe add in a little bit more fat, maybe open your mind to some protein, lower those carbs. Holy cow, Riley just heard the door open. Then you will be able to shrink your fat cells. Thank you. Share this and write a review for me too, by the way. Go to iTunes. I know I still say iTunes. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's on Amazon Music now. The Thyroid Fix podcast. Share it, listen to it, write a review for me. It would be much appreciated. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you want to reach out to me, I welcome you to do so. You can visit my website at amiehornaman.com and send me a message through there. I will definitely contact you and we can chat more about your health and how I can fix you.